Welcome to another installment of the video series I do in this channel called Please Fix Thanks. Today we're going to be looking at Tori Trades. Tori Trades is a trading influencer. It's like she was basically made in a lab to be a trading influencer. She's got the whole social media thing completely down. She's got it. She embodies like what it means to have a personal brand. A great trader. She's like made trading her life. She sells courses. Definitely a success story. Not trying to pick on her at all. Just wanted to dissect a video of hers where she goes through and breaks down a $13,500 loss she had trading platinum on the 4-hour chart. So I was just going to I'll show you the chart real quick. So here's Tori. It's a little screenshot of her video, and she's talking about closing. I think she held on to it a little longer than she wanted to, but she tried to go long platinum based on a trend line break. She's a trend line trader, and then she ended up having to be forced to close it out with quite a substantial loss. So this platinum trade occurred on September 19th of 2024, and I figure we could watch her video real quick. Just to get a sense. Actually, yeah, you know what? Let's just jump into FX Replay. Let's just jump into FX Replay and just break this thing down. So, what do you see? What do you see? This is actually before the move that got her long, and I want to just show you that. If you take this low here, so this is well before her entry. This is actually a 2023 model that gets her long. In other words, this descending trend line liquidity, and that's actually what she's trading. Is what she tries to do is she waits for the break, and then she waits for like a particular type of retest, and then she'll try to get long after that. Unfortunately, she gets long deep into the or very high into premium on in the bullish position, and there's another like this 2023 model that I'm about to show you. It basically fails. In other words, it hits the basically like a breaker entry, a bearish breaker entry, and then it just dumps on her. So she almost gets no profits whatsoever, and then it just like goes into her drawdown, and then finally into her stop loss. So yeah, let's watch this play out. We're on the 4-hour chart, and actually, yeah, we'll wait for some sort of confirmation. Yeah, so it's that little spike turns into a bullish entry, right? And oh, actually, I drew that a little too prematurely. So there, it's this range here. I knew that there was something just by looking at the her chart from the screenshot. I knew that there was some sort of potential model here to be long, at least until the 50% of the range. So this is a great object lesson in like why you should be careful at equilibrium, and why you shouldn't be so ready to jump in long, let's say in this particular trade, at equilibrium. So yeah, so I'm just trying to I'm going to be jumping around the time frames here, looking for which particular time frame fits the 2023 model the best. But it's essentially it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, so 12-hour fits pretty well. I'm sure like a daily. So 12 hours, you're talking like maybe the and I know you're probably cringing at the exotic time frames here, but if a 4-hour is a 15-minute, then a 12-hour would either be a 45 or a 1 hour, and 1 hour as a nice like turtle soup, 3 drives, right? Kind of a 3 drives turtle soup to get us all along, right? And so we all get long. Hopefully, if you're the turtle soup trader, you're long here, and you're taking profit and you're moving your stops to break even here. Now, what happens with Tori is her model, she's on the 4-hour chart in this particular trade, and she doesn't get long until like here, until probably a smaller retest. So she's watching this. Oh, it even hits the 618 pretty commandingly. And this is where she's priming herself to get long. Yeah, and I think she's probably, I mean, I don't, the thing with trend lines is that makes them difficult to use is you can draw trend lines. I mean, she probably has like a set of specific rules, like with how she draws trend lines. But let's just say that she's getting long at some point here and looking for extension. And then she's got, I guess if you're confident in your trend line, you can put your stop loss on your trend line. So in other words, if there's some sort of resumption in the trend, then you can get, you can get back. But yeah, this is what she calls so in her video, she calls this a non-performer at this point. Because it really is doing the hallmark of stalling out at the breaker. Many 4-hour candles. Yeah. So that right there, that final one, that's actually a bearish turtle soup. In the middle of this range to then extend the bearish displacement, right? And so what this ends up being at this point is it's a pause CRT. It's a pause CRT because the time it took from here to here, right? We'll call it even there to be generous, right? You can multiply this by 3. You can multiply this by 10 and over 3. You can multiply this by pi, right? If you're thinking like Fourier transformations, right? And then you get this. You get this 33 bars. And pause CRTs can even take longer. Like pause CRTs can take this long, right? The thing about pause CRTs is it's basically chaos, and it's relying on event triggers. It's relying on futures contracts to expire or switch over. It's relying on all sorts of different things. It's more of like a timing thing than it is like a price thing with pause CRTs, and there isn't one set formula. So yeah, so we get our bearish, we get a bearish breaker. Do we clear that? Oh, we don't. We dig into this though. We dig into this order block essentially. This it becomes like a propulsion block, right? This in and of itself is a model. It's a bearish 2023 model to get us short on the 8-hour time frame. I'm fairly certain. So in other words, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, with that being the origination candle there, or maybe even 11 with that being the origination candle, right? I try to use a swing high and then expect another swing high to form 3 drives. And then if this is manipulation, then we need 24 hours of distribution to get us short. And it's these 24 hours of distribution that gets Tori Trades violently lost. She violently loses her 3,500. I love a 2023 model because if I ever have a quote unquote non-performer, in fact, just to like hit this point home, I think I'll end this video by watching her video, but she talks about having a non-performer. And if I ever have a non-performer, like if I'm still long here and it's just like literally 24 hours of me being long if I were a swing trader, my system tells me I need to cut that trade. It tells me I need to get out, not based on price, but based on time, which is really helpful. So let's watch over the next 24 hours now. So there's the first distribution candle, the second and the third. And let's just watch how this distribution candle will distribute to these lows. So we're essentially, our 2023 model that occurred on the 8-hour time frame predicts 24 hours or 3 8-hour candles to distribute to these lows. And we get that. And not only do we distribute to these lows, but the final candle gives us a kiss of death entry. And the kiss of death entry is yet another 2023 model to the upside. And this time, if you go back to the 4-hour chart, there's a little clue I want to key you guys into. The clue is, look for a down close candle in a long string of up close candles. And this is kind of pause CRT type of dynamics, where you have a really inefficient run because the price had this extreme delta in 11 or so 4-hour bars. Whoops, wrong range. In 11 or so 4-hour bars, we managed to extend price from 956 all the way up above a key level 1000. And so this calls for a pause CRT to fix the buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency, right? To use all those ICT buzzwords. And then here, so this is too high, like this is not in the discount of the range, right? This is suitable because this little overhang was when the whole thing started. And so there's kind of a symmetry to it where we fake out, it's essentially a false turtle soup, right? And then we rip higher and we target that level there that was manipulated to be, that manipulated the bears to be bearish at the exact wrong time. We use that level again. And so this ends up being a kiss of death entry to extend us, and I'll just use a quick time frame analysis here. I think it's actually on the daily this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? And look, right at contract roll. So at the birth of the new contract in platinum, we end up with a bullish turtle soup, and the pause CRT is over, and we expect the next 3 candles, the next 3 daily candles to be distributional. The way you would confirm this is on a 1-hour time frame to get your signal. So here we have a classic Romeo bullish entry. We have fat down close candle, Romeo order block, bullish FVG. We retest, and then we're going to go higher. And we're going to go, and I'm so confident we're going to go higher because look at this top. This is a super inefficient top. This is so tepid. It's like a low volume type of thing after this exhaustion, after all of this. And so of course we're going to be looking to hit those highs, return to those highs, form a much better top than that if this is the top in platinum. And spoiler warning, it's definitely not the top in platinum. All throughout 2024, platinum was being hoarded, being bid by many, many buyers. So this completes our 2023 model where we had our 10 daily candles, our 10 trading daily candles into peak manipulation with our 3 candles of distribution. Go back to the daily. So I guess it only took 2 days. So we're ahead of schedule, which means because we're ahead of schedule that you look for further expansion higher. On the 3rd day, expand above, close above, set up a base, hit back down into the former relative equal highs. You know the drill. So yeah, so that's Tori Trades. Let's go watch your video. And as we're watching the video, if you're using this video as like an instructional video, just think about yourself and your own propensity and your own trading, and think about your propensity to be long in a way that is think about this. Would I have gone long when Tori Trades did? And if so, what would get me out of the trade before I lost? And how would I work on my trading system or my trading style so that I'm less likely to do that in the future?
Okay, so let's zoom in. We are looking at a 4-hour time frame. I am a swing trader. This is my swing trading account. My entries and exits are all done within the 4-hour time frame. So we've got an entry right here at the break of only a 2 touch point trend line. Not ideal, not A plus. Regardless, an entry nonetheless. We had an entry of a break of a downward trend line. We also got a break of a horizontal level here, a key level of 989.6. But as soon as I got in, price continued to do absolutely nothing. We've got something that my uncle used to call a non-producer, going nowhere. Finally, Friday morning, we're up almost $12,000, and then bar after bar after bar went against me, and then boom, price finally broke the line keeping me safe, the line that my stop trails along. It finally broke it. I held a little bit longer than I would normally for this trade. I was down about $8,000, and that's when I got my indication that I needed to close. But I held and I held and I held a little bit longer than I wanted to, and closed with $13,500. Okay, so let's zoom in. We are looking at...
Yeah, so she even talks about at one point and during the wick of that final 4-hour candle being up 12,000. And that's the turtle soup. Is it during the wick of a turtle soup, which is the entry point, it gives the people who are getting turtle soup, to the market participants, the maximum amount of hope, because they see all of a sudden, after being in the trade for a long time, she saw her P&L go in her favor rapidly. And then it swings back just as rapidly, right? Because after all, it was a 4-hour wick. So the whole entire swing probably only took about 30 minutes, right? Or maybe an hour. And there's a thing from behavioral finance that Charlie Munger talks about. And he talks about how if you give a dog a bone and then you immediately take the bone away, the way that the dog's brain works is its brain is recognizing getting the bone as a positive thing, and it's flooding the dog with essentially like reward. The neurotransmitters that they're associated with reward, and then taking the bone away from the dog in that moment, it produces, I think it's called deprivation hyperreactivity, I think is what he called it. And essentially it switches, it's a whiplash of your neurotransmitters from extreme reward to extreme loss, or extreme, you're all of a sudden you've been deprived. And that itself is harder for the dog to experience. So you're more likely to get aggression out of that dog than you would if you had left the bone in the dog's around the dog for a long time, let's say 32 hours or whatever it is, and then you go and you walk in and then you take the bone away from the dog, and the dog goes, oh yeah, that little bone, I don't really care about that. That's a loss I can handle, right? And so that's why turtle soups are so beautiful in finance, because the act of the wick, the upper wick in a bearish turtle soup, and the act of that in terms of behavioral finance and psychology on the traders who are long, it makes people break their rules. It made Tori Trades break her rules and hold on to that thing longer than she should have, because she had deprivation hyperreactivity. She fell for that behavioral finance pitfall. And that's what makes turtle soups so beautiful and so consistent and so frequently applied by market makers. Well, anyways, thank you so much for watching the